All right, shalawam. First off, I want to say all praises to Yahawah by Shem Yahawashi. Double honors to the Apostles of GMS, and shalawam to the elect out there pushing the word in sincerity and in truth. Now, first off, this is GMS Precepts, another installment, and I'm gonna just get right into it. I've got an article here that I want to get into. Now, as you can see in the title, it says Ebola cases could rise to 1.4 million by January, the CDC says, or the Center of Disease Control says. So, anybody that's in the truth and that's watching, as the scripture says, when we see articles like this, that's it puts fear in you. But for the most part, it rejoices you. It adds to your faith, because this is we read things like this in the scriptures, and this is what we're supposed to. This is what the Most High, through the spirit of all the prophets, told us to watch out for. Okay, matter of fact, since I said that, let me get the first scripture. This is Second Ezra's in Apocrypha 9:1. It says, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself." Now, how do you measure thou the time diligently in itself? You watch. Okay, the Most High told us to what? Watch as well as pray. Or Yahawashi told us to watch as well as pray. Now, what do we watch for? We watch for things like these. We watch for articles and news shows like these, Ebola viruses. Okay, because that's part of that's part of the pestilence that was told to us. Okay. It says, "What measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." So when we see these things like the Ebola virus, the outbreak, and mind you, this is the worst case. This is the worst Ebola outbreak since it was ever created. Okay, and mind you, we already know that it was created by the so-called white man as part of his eugenics program to bring the world's population down from 7 billion to 500 billion. I mean, we already know it's the so-called white man's doing. They create these diseases as a part of their program to control world population. Okay, so any disease they create, they already have a cure for it, but that just defeats the purpose of their intentions, which is to bring down our population. We already know that the so-called white man did it, but ultimately it's by the will of the Most High. The so-called white man, I don't like to give Esau too much credit. All right, anything that the so-called white man does, it's by the will of Yahawah by Shem Yahawashi. Okay, but these are part of the things that we're supposed to look for, and once we see these signs, that's why I said earlier it builds faith, because we know we're that much closer. Once we see these signs pass, then I'll read this last part. It says, "And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." And what's that talking about? That's talking about the deliverance of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the elect of Israel. Lord willing, I'm one of them. But there's an article here. It says Ebola cases could rise to 1.4 million. Okay, and I'm going to read this paragraph here. It says, "Global experts issued stark new warnings of the scale of the West Africa's Ebola outbreak on Tuesday, with the U.S. government estimating between 550,000 to 1.4 million people might be infected in the region by January. January, man, that's a couple months away. Okay, that's what, 3-4 months away. All right, so it could reach 500,000 people by the best case scenario. It could reach 500,000 people by January. All right, it says the U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention said its projection was based on data from late August and did not take into account a planned U.S. mission to fight the disease. So the upper end of the forecast was unlikely. Okay. Hopefully it is. Okay. But it reads on to say, however, it followed research by experts from the World Health Organization and Imperial College, which estimated that 20,000 people risk infection within 6 weeks. So they're already telling you. You see, they give you a little glimpse of a little glimmer of hope, but they crush you with this next line. It says, but in 6 weeks, there could be 20,000 new patients or new infected people. And basically, if you get infected with that, man, you're pretty much toast, okay? Because they say they're able to treat it if it's caught in the early stages, okay? But that's not really happening, all right? It says months early. It says which estimated 20,000 people risk infection within 6 weeks, months earlier than previous forecasts. So they're saying they didn't expect 20,000 new patients to be infected within 6 weeks. It warned that the disease might become a permanent feature of life in West Africa. So they're telling you right there that this is going to be around. Pretty much when they say it's going to be this number of 500,000 or 1.4 million, they're basically just pre-warning you. Okay. And mind you, this is the worst outbreak of Ebola virus ever recorded. Matter of fact, the next line, it says the worst Ebola outbreak on record has already killed over 2,800 people. Okay, so they're already telling you it's getting real. All right. So you got a lot of our people. You got a lot of dumb people that's seeing this and get scared, but the elect men, we're rejoicing. Our faith is getting boosted. All right, because the Lord already told us of these things. Now I'm gonna get Matthew 24:7. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom," and that's evident, man, because you got the thing that's going on in Syria right now. So-called white man is chasing the new boogeyman named ISIS. Okay. All right, they're going around in the Middle East because now they feel like they gotta chase ISIS, which ain't nothing but a CIA group. All right, but they're going around chasing ISIS now to save American people from terrorism. Okay, so that's going on, which we already know that's just a ploy. That's just a way to go into the Middle East and start their takeover. All right, you got that brewing. Meanwhile, they're still in Iraq and Afghanistan. Meanwhile, the tension between America and Russia is still growing every day. So, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. That's evident, man. If you can't see that, the Lord is really putting some heavy angels on you to blind you from seeing that. All right. And it says, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. So just like I read in 2nd Esdras, and when thou seest the time pass, which I told thee before, what are the things that the Lord told us before? Famines and pestilence, and kingdom against kingdom. These are the things that he said, look, watch out for these things, because when you see these things, know that the Lord is coming to deliver Israel. All right, and in the next line it says what? All these are the beginning of sorrows. All right, now if you jump down to verse 21, it says, For then shall be great tribulation, such as was never since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever will. So these times we're entering right now is a time of great tribulation. Okay, it's going to be a lot of death on not only in the streets of America, but all over the planet. It's going to be the Most High is going to unleash. Matter of fact, that's in the scripture I'm gonna get. This is 2nd Ezra 15 chapter 5th verse. It says, Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. It says the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And what avenue, what's one way he's going to bring death on the planet Earth? The Ebola virus. 1.4 million people toast. And that's a very violent death, man. That's a torturous death, you know. Basically, Ebola virus, it liquefies your insides, your organs, and you have nonstop diarrhea and vomiting and bleeding from your mouth, and that's a violent death, man. Okay, but hey, that's all the will of the Most High. All right, and pretty much that's it. Until the next show, shalawam.